Yo! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by here on a Monday afternoon as we get you caught up today on everything surrounding the New York Football Giants. We put a video out this morning talking about all the news that came in over the weekend, and it was a laundry list full of bad news. Dexter Lawrence is out for the season as he did dislocate his elbow. Theo Johnson, rookie tight end, he is also out for the season with a foot injury. They have officially been placed on IR, which means their 2024 campaign is done. Also, the Giants, following the game on Thursday, they owned the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. But after this week's slate of games in the NFL, they have fallen to the number 3 overall pick. All the bad stuff, it's out of the way. Good stuff coming up. We got a mock draft coming up on today's video. Mock draft number 2. We're calling it Marshall's Mock 2.0. So we'll be doing a mock draft on today's show. We're also going to go in depth on who I think should be the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. Is it Tommy Cutlets? Is it Drew Lock? We'll break all that down. And we got a mailbag as well. So if you want to get your questions featured on the show, you guys know the drill. If you super chat, you're guaranteed to get a spot on the sack, or go ahead and drop hashtag Giants and let producer Smitty decide if your question makes the show. Already 145 people in the building. Let's get the comment section going. If you're still here on a Monday in, week 14, the Giants are 2-57. Give me a real one down in the comment section. I appreciate you guys. Ty Dubs, I got you, man. Order is locked in. So keep your eyes out for that shipment coming in. Shout out to Ty Dubs. Gilly in the building. What up, Gilly? The High Bye, Joe G. Bryce Milligan. Nope, says 2 and 100. Yeah, it's been a long one, my man. Luckily, only 5 more games to go. Picho. What up, Picho? Rival, Stolen Harley. J-Man. Hector Barrera. What up, my man? Shout out to Giants Fan 9. Jason in the building. Auto. Paradox. Remy the Enforcer, shout out to y'all. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. Let's let YouTube know that we are live. 146 people watching, only 53 likes. Those are rookie numbers. Got to pump those numbers up. If you've liked the video, give me a me in the chat. I'll give a shout out. Shout out to Ty Man the Buckeye holding it down. What up, Steve? MB Prods. What's good, my man? Agent Warrior says, how are you, Marshall? I'm good, man. I'm good. It's a Monday, getting back rolling. Had a good, long, extended break this weekend. Got to go see some family, my niece, my nephew for the first time in a while. So that was a lot of fun, and I didn't have to watch the Giants lose on a Sunday. So that was a lot of fun as well. Appreciate you asking, my man. Hit that thumbs up icon if you haven't yet. Dane says, favorite Thanksgiving side? I got to go with the mac and cheese if it's done right. If the mac and cheese is done right, that's number 1. That's number 1 on my list. Remy the Enforcer, $2 super chat. We appreciate you. Says, if the New York Giants get the number 1 pick, would you trade it or pick a quarterback? That's a good question. For me, though, I'm just going to stick and pick. The Giants have a massive hole at the quarterback position. And if you want to say this draft class at the QB spot is not as good as last year, I can understand that. It's not. But you still need a guy. And I just don't want to continue to kick this can down the road. You passed on one last year. What are you going to pass on one this year, and then you're going to pass on one next year, and then hope that the mobile Manning is going to be a Giant? I'm not in the camp of the belief that we should wait for Archie Manning. Can we see him at least start a couple of games and see what he's got? Look, I think he's going to be good, but yeah, I would take a QB this year, whether it is Sanders, whether it is Ward. I think you got to take one of those guys. I'll tell you who I would take, though, as my QB1 later on in the video. Nope says, I'm on the Kyle McCord train until it's proven he sucks. That's fair. I thought he played well against Miami. I was locked into that one. But also Miami's defense isn't really all that good. McCord has shown some good things this year. Just not one of my top 2 guys at this moment. Joey DeLuca, the real one, tapping in. Appreciate the $1 super chat, bro. Always here, always showing love. We definitely appreciate you. Michael Cook says, dude can't beat out Ewers. Oh, that was a long time ago. McCord would be a 3rd rounder. There's some things I like about McCord. He's not afraid to throw the ball down the field. He's got a big arm. But I don't love how he didn't look all that good in an Ohio State offense that had pro prospect after pro prospect across the board. But hey, new situation, new spot. He's definitely making the most of that opportunity. Yeah, I did like Rattler, and I do still like Rattler. Never thought he'd be a franchise guy, but fourth or fifth round, we were right on the money with that. Right on the money. Frank, what up, man? Says, who else is depressed? There's probably 180 people in this chat right now that are depressed with the New York Giants. Dean says, will Dable and Shane get fired? It's definitely an opportunity. Definitely an opportunity for that. We'll talk more Giants coming up in a second. First, though, I got to give a major shout-out to our proud sponsor, Game Time. If you are looking to buy tickets to an upcoming Giants game, you want to go see the Knicks play, or maybe there's a concert or a comedy show, download the Game Time app and use that promo code ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Game Time is the only ticketing app I use these days because I know I'm getting the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer. So if you're a procrastinator like I am, or you don't want to have to spend the money until you absolutely have to, you're going to love Game Time. Last-minute tickets and flash deal. The app will actually alert you when the price for those tickets are going down. You get to have a view from inside the app of the seats that you were deciding on purchasing. And yeah, the best price is the lowest price guaranteed. Look, if you're going to go watch a Giants game this weekend, get $20 off. Use that promo code ChatSports and use that all-in pricing feature as well as the Game Time Picks feature. That way you can guarantee you're getting the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports, CHATSPORTS, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All that information will be clickable down in the comments, description, and the live chat. Shout out to producer Smitty for getting those in there. My man Jay Liv coming in with a $10 super chat. What up, Jay Liv? Says it's easy to criticize Shane's drafting. At the time, his picks were highly ranked. You gave an A to Banks, Schmidt, and Hyatt. Tibbs and Neal were seen as good picks at the time. Should he come back? My answer is no. I don't think he should come back. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what my grades were. It doesn't matter if I was right or if I was wrong. I'm not being held to a standard of having to hit on draft picks. I'm just a guy that gets to talk and get paid about when I'm talking about the Giants. I like the draft picks. Thing is, they didn't work out. Doesn't matter if I liked them. Pro Football Focus liked them too. They didn't work out. It is what it is. They haven't been good. I get it. I liked some of those picks, and I did. I thought Deonte Banks was a good pick. But at the time, I also said I would have stuck and picked at 25 and just selected Joey Porter Jr. Didn't happen. John Michael Schmitz, everybody loved it.
Yeah, everybody loved Schmitz.
But it didn't work. Yeah. Doesn't matter if everyone loved it or everyone didn't love it. You're judged off if you got a hit or if you got a miss. And he missed on Tibbs. He missed on Neal. He's missed on Banks. He's missed on John Michael Schmitz. And he's missed on Jalen Hyatt. It is what it is. There's no way I would bring Joe Shane back. He also gave $92 million to Daniel Jones. I just don't trust him to make the best decisions for this team going forward. It is what it is. The draft is a crapshoot. There's no doubt about it. He did bounce back in 2024, but this ain't baseball. You don't go to the Hall of Fame batting 300.
Also, how big of a bounce back really was it? Did he really strike
The bounce back seems so big because the other drafts were so bad.
Like, if you really look at that 2024 class, it's definitely better than the 22 and 23, but there are deficiencies at a lot of those picks as well.
And I think when we get more information like we have on Joe Shane, we've kind of started to notice a pattern in his drafting habits. And I've always been BPA, take the best player available. Joe Shane has been a drafter of need, and positional need hasn't worked out. We'll see if the Giants make a decision on him. If I had to bet today, I would say Joe Shane is back, but I wouldn't do it because I want a new direction and I want new leadership. And I'm of the opinion that if you're going to stick with Joe Shane, you better stick with him for the next 3 years so he could build around the rookie quarterback he selects, or you're going to be doing the song and dance the Chicago Bears have done for the last 6 years. Draft a rookie quarterback, fire that coach after the rookie quarterback's first year, and then select a new coach and a new general manager. I don't want that to happen. I want some continuity to be there, Smitty.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you cannot be in the spot that the Bears are. The Bears have the best rookie quarterback of the past 5-10 years, and or were supposed to be the best rookie quarterback of the best 5-10 years, and they lost 9 in a row, whatever they've lost in a row.
Yeah.
Like, they're a total dumpster fire. You cannot have the revolving door in your staff, especially when you're trying to build up from a rookie quarterback that you took.
Because this is
very
my
high.
thing. Like, obviously, Joe Shane is on the hot seat right now.
Yeah.
Let's say they draft a quarterback. What's most likely going to happen if you draft a rookie quarterback? Probably not going to be that good in 2025. So let's say the Giants exceed expectations and they go 7-10 in that year, or maybe they go 6-11. Are you then going to fire Joe Shane then? Like, if you are, and I've always said this, if you are one bad game away, if you are one bad season away from making a decision, just do it before that. Because if you are that close to the edge, you shouldn't need the extra push to make that move. Look, I get it. Y'all want to hold me accountable for some of these picks? I didn't turn in the draft cards. My job security is good either way.
And listen, at the end of the day, Joe Shane's the roster is in a worse spot than when he took the job, and that's just that's indicative of you being a bad general manager.
Also, like some of the free agency misses.
Yep.
Like you haven't hit on an offensive lineman outside of Jermaine Illuminor, and that one was pretty easy. You missed on Mark Lewinsky in year one. You paid him $8 million. You drafted Evan Neal. You drafted Joshua Azudu. You drafted Marcus McKeithen. You drafted John Michael Schmitz. None of those guys are very good.
Haven't even talked about the free agency departures and who he's let go from this roster and how well they're performing in other locations. Like,
you need more good moves than just giving $150 million on a second-round pick for Brian Burns. Like, that was a good move, but it also was like something I would have done on Madden when I was like 18.
Yeah, it's one of those moves. It's a no-brainer. It's a 25-year-old elite pass rusher, and he's going to get paid like one. Like, any team would have done that. And like you said, it was kind of a Madden move considering what the Giants were looking at heading into this year.
Also, I don't think John Runyon has bbeen that good. I think Nope will tell you, if he's still in the building, what Marshall said about him when he got signed. I only uttered it 15 times in a row. No, I didn't think John Runyon was worth the money, and I think as we are 3/4 of the way through his first season, he is not worth $10 million, like we said 1,000 times. J-Liv, appreciate you, my man. Mike G, $10 super chat. Shout out to you, my man. Says, Marsh, what's this nonsense of a bridge QB to get Arch Manning? Just thinks it's the last name is why we talk about this kid.
It is.
Do you agree we got to get the QB this year? Appreciate it. Yes, you got to get the QB this year. How long are you going to kick the can down the road? I know a lot changed in Washington, Smitty. New head coach, new owner. You got that bad smell up out of there.
New GM, too.
But once you got that quarterback in there that everyone could rally around and look at, like you're the face of the franchise, you are our quarterback, it speeds up that rebuild. And look, I don't expect a rookie quarterback to change everything for the New York Giants, but I at least expect it to give us some belief. And right now we're pretty low on that.
Yeah.
We are pretty low on that.
Morale is low.
It's the most important position in all of sports. You got to get it right. You got to get it right. As Nope in the chat, quoting me, says he is below average. And he's been below average this year. At the time when they signed Jermaine Illuminor, I literally told you guys he would be better. Shout out to you, Mike G. I don't think the Giants can afford. Brian Dable and Joe Shane are going to be trying to sell beachfront property in Oklahoma if you are selling John Mara on we're going to wait 2 more years to select a quarterback.
Yep.
Not going to happen. They're going to take one this spring. Or they'll trade for one. There will be a new long-term answer at that position before we start football in 2025. My man, Trucker T. Brooklyn, what up, bro? Appreciate the $10 super chat. Always showing love, man. Thank you, bro. Says, fellas, what do you think? And Louis Riddick as our GM and Cam Ward at the QB. All in on Cam Ward as the quarterback of this team. He's been my quarterback one all college football season long. I'm not really in the camp of having general managers anymore as their first stop. Like, I don't want to hire another general manager that's never been a general manager before. I know there's a lot of love for Louis Riddick, and he's been a part of a couple of hiring processes so far for the Giants. They've interviewed a couple of times. He's been interviewed by other spots. For me, though, I want a general manager that's been there and done that. I want a head coach that's been there and done that. I'm just kind of tired of trying all these experimental guys. I just want someone that's been successful at the position we are hiring them for. That's just kind of where I'm at this point. Is this piece still in here? This is new? Jay Liv, $5 super chat. What up, man? Says, Reshane, I could dig it. The roster is worse The Bears haven't had a real QB since Sid Luckman.
Who is that?
And how does that apply? You look, yeah, Joe Shane, he's an easy guy to criticize. I get it. You come into his defense. But how about some of the players that he's added to this team play better, and that could be his defense? It is what it is. It's a results-based business. Doesn't matter if I like it. It is what it is. And what up, bro? $2 super chat. Appreciate the love as always, homie. Says, Marsh, you like Sanders or Ward for QB1? I got Cam Ward as QB1. I got Shador Sanders as QB2.
Has the gap shrunk a little bit for you?
Gap has shrunk.
I think so.
Gap has shrunk for sure. I've had Ward as my QB1 pretty much all season long. I think the play of the two and the difference in the on-the-field stuff has shrunk. But for me, the number one driving force of why I am Cam Ward over Shador Sanders is the leadership and the fact that this is a guy that I think a locker room can rally around a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more relatable, and I just like the career trajectory of Cam Ward. He pretty much runs a triple option offense in high school. He goes to Incarnate Word, then he goes to Wazoo, and now he's a star at Miami, and he's turned their entire organization around in less than 12 months. I just like the fact that he's got it out the mud a little bit more, and I think that your starting right guard can probably relate a little bit more to Cam Ward than Shador Sanders. I think Sanders is going to be good. I think Ward's going to be good. I'll be happy if we get either of those two young stars on this team. I'd be cool with either one of that. 200 people in the building. If you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up icon. Once we get to 125 likes, we will start segment 1 of today's show, which is a mock draft. So if you haven't yet, smash that thumbs up icon. If you have, drop a me in the chat so I know who the real ones are. Mike G. What up, Mike G? Best initials in the game, bro. Says Bill or Vrabel for 2025. I got Mike Vrabel. I got Mike Vrabel as my number 1 Brian Dable replacement. And we were talking shop in the Chat Sports Studios earlier today, and somebody asked me, is Bill Belichick your number 1 head coach replacement? And I said, no, it's Mike Vrabel. And he's like, well, what about number 2? And you know what? Bill Belichick is probably my number 2 head coach replacement for Brian Dable. But outside of that, man, I don't really love any of the head coaches that are going to be available. I know, and flip-flop, I get it. I still do think Brian Dable could be a good head coach, man. I just don't know if it'll ever be here. I still would like to see him get his shot to be the head coach, but, man, I don't think you could fire a general manager and keep a head coach. I don't want to thrust a head coach onto the general manager, so I'm just kind of cool with just cleaning house. Clean house and just start new. Get some new juice going in this building. Thunder, what up, man? Pete Cho says, will Gruden ever come back to coach? John Gruden would love to coach in the National Football League again. Roger Goodell probably says no, though. Goodell probably says no. My man Trucker T, what up, dog? Appreciate you coming by and showing love 2 times. Says Marsh, but we need new blood, bro. We have changed with the times. Look at the Lions, Washington, player coaches. Yeah, I got that. Look, if there's who you want, Aaron Glenn? You want Aaron Glenn to be the head coach for the New York Giants? Did you say someone earlier that he wanted to be a head coach that was a former player?
Keep in mind with those personnel over there at Washington and Detroit, like Detroit has some of the best coordinators in the game. So does Washington. Cliff Kingsbury, one of the best offensive minds. Also, and Dan Quinn, obviously one of the best defensive minds. Like those 2 guys are players, coaches, but they also have the football acumen that have possessed their team with a lot of skill. Like there's a lot of great schemes being run over there by those coordinators.
Who's the player coach that people want in this cycle?
I don't think Vrabel's a player's coach.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is former players that are coaches is what he's saying. Like the Lions and Dan Campbell. Washington.
Is Dan Quinn a former player?
So now I'm confused on what you're trying to say. Players, coaches? I I don't really know what you mean by that. Guys that players can relate to or guys that have played in the NFL?
Dan Quinn's never played in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know. Brian Dable was looked at as a player's head coach. Did
Yeah,
we
he
forget
was.
what happened after week 1 against Tennessee, where he literally is MFing the entire crowd and has Saquon Barkley in one arm and Sterling Shepard in another, and they're almost crying? Yeah, I would say Brian Dable is a player's coach. There was times after his rookie year where he said that he was too nice on the players, and it felt like a country club atmosphere.
Yeah, go watch some of some of the clips out there on social media with him and Josh Allen. They were best buddies.
Yeah.
Brian Dable is a relatable guy. He's relatable to the players. It just unfortunately has not resulted in a very pretty picture for the Giants for the past couple seasons.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what you mean by that. If you just want to comment down below, and we'll continue to talk about it. As far as former NFL players being coaches, that can work. Look, all these situations can work. You look at guys like Dan Campbell, but then you also get the example of Antonio Pierce.
I was going to say the same thing.
For everything you want to look at, there's always the other side of that coin. I just want a guy that's already been good as a head coach before. That's just what I want. Vrabel has showed that he can build up a culture, a locker room, and a winning foundation. We've seen Bill Belichick do that maybe like once or twice as well. So I'd be cool with that.
Maybe
Michael Cook says Robert Saleh as DC. I'd be cool with that. Sounds like he's the hottest DC candidate on the market right now.
Oh, for sure.
Pete Joe says, is Dable's play calling that bad, or is the player's execution just horrible? Yes. I think it's a little of both. Man. I really do. Look, this has been a really hard year for Dable, and I'm sure he's pissed off as well. And I don't want to just say that he is void of any criticism, but he's made some dumb decisions as well. Definitely in the 2-point play conversation, we're running the swinging gate like it's Pop Warner football.
4th and 1 to Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, we're running end arounds to 5'8", 165-pound receivers. It's very easy to criticize when things don't go wrong, and if those things would have gone right, we would have called him a genius. Trucker comes back with a $5 super chat. It just feels like we are picking from the same old tree. For the longest time, yes, the Giants were that organization that promoted from within. They got that same guy, but this was different. You went and hired a general manager that had no ties to the New York Football Giants. You went and hired a head coach that had no ties to the New York Football Giants. This was the tandem, and this was the duo that was supposed to bring that new blood, that new life, and that new feel to the New York Giants. And damn, did they deliver in year 1. It felt like we had turned the leaf. It felt like this was a new team. It felt like it had a new direction. And then you gave some guy $92 million, and he set you back 20 years.
The playoff win that set the franchise back 5 years is just insane.
Yeah. Is there a world where I think Joe Schoen and Brian Dable can get this job done? Yes. Do I also think there is a world where they could be fired once the season ends? Yeah. John Mara is a loose cannon, man. We've shown you the quotes before. He guaranteed they wouldn't fire 2 head coaches midseason, and then he fired them 2 weeks later. So a lot can change. A lot will continue to change. And like I said 6 weeks ago when John Mara said he wants to retain Brian Dable and Joe Schoen, 11 weeks is a long, long time.
Long time. And
we still got 5 more games, and things could change. Say this much, so if you don't win another game this year, which, fingers crossed, that's going to leave a bad taste in John Mara's mouth. Hit that thumbs up icon for me if you haven't, and make sure to get your questions in for our live mailbag. We're about to start our mock draft coming up in a second. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat to get on the show.
Yeah, if you guys are seeing a lot of Super Chats come across the screen right now, so those of you who want to use hashtag Giants, they better be some banger questions, because Super Chat's the only way to guarantee yourself onto the mailbag. If there's some time left over to have some hashtag Giants questions, we'll pick from that selection as well. But you got to have a banger question to guarantee yourself on there. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hashtag Giants to get yourself on the show. There's a couple more Super Chats rolling here as well.
Shout out to y'all. Ty Dubs.
Ty.
I'm looking at it right now, my man.
Dubs. Shout out to you, Dubs. Thank you for the 5. And then Adonis the A-Train came in with a 5 as well. He said, "Yo guys, could Jacob Truba, not gonna lie, I'm unfamiliar, be our new players coach / team captain? He can teach our young secondary how to hit and tackle for a good reason." I'm not gonna lie, is this a troll? Like, who is this cat? Who is this?
I don't know.
Oh
yeah,
my
Ty
God,
Dubs.
he's a hockey player.
Ty Dubs, I got you, bro. I already got all that, man.
Oh, he's the captain of the Rangers, I guess.
We're taking care of you, Ty Dubs. We appreciate you, bro. We appreciate you, man.
Shout out to Ty
Adonis,
Dubs.
thank you, bro.
I wish we could hire a hockey player. Maybe they show some fight in this team.
Show some fight. Be cool.
Beak hoop.
What up, man? $5 super chat. Realistically, who would your first three round draft picks be? Marsh, you're on the clock.
We got 2 coming up.
I got a 2-round mock draft coming for you in a second, man.
We're in December.
I try to stay away from the 3-round mock drafts as it is December 2nd.
Yeah.
And we are 5 months away from the NFL draft.
We kind of know who's going to go there in the first 60
Only reason I'm
picks.
doing two rounds is because the Giants had the 36th pick.
Oh, okay.
You think I already know 40 prospects? Nah. 3-round mock draft, that will not happen until January. But if I had to say what the 3 positions I want the Giants to draft the most, quarterback, corner, defensive tackle. If you can get players at those 3 spots in the first 3 rounds, I'm going to be a happy camper as long as they don't suck. Hamza Network, what up, man? $5 super chat. Shout out to you. I do not want to see Shane Bowen ever again as defensive coordinator this year. His scheme is terrible. Run defense is terrible. LOL, only 1 interception in 11 games. What a joke. And that's another indictment for me on Brian Daboll. I think 20% of being a head coach is being able to build out a staff that can elevate a ceilings team. And you've already hired 2 offensive line coaches in 3 years, meaning you fired 1. You're already on, you moved yourself into the offensive coordinator spot, so technically you're on your second OC. You're on your second DC. You moved on from Wink Martindale. You hired Shane Bowen, and you're on your second special teams coordinator spot. So you've changed OC, DC, and special teams coordinator in less than 3 seasons as a head coach. I don't love that. I don't love that. Head coaches are supposed to be able to build out staffs that complement your team. And outside of Carmen Brasillo, your offensive line coach, I'm not sure you've hit yet on a coordinator hire. I loved Wink Martindale, but you couldn't form a relationship with him to keep him. So, yeah, not good. Shane Bowen, he will be fired at the end of this season, whether Daboll's back or not. No way Shane Bowen could be the DC for next year. You don't force turnovers. You don't stop the run. 2 quick ways to get your ass fired. Dub D's? Dub December? Dub D's. Says Cam Ward or Sanders, kind of leaning Ward. I have Ward as QB1, Sanders as QB2. Ward QB1, Sanders QB2. It's probably going to stay like that for me for the remainder of this draft process, but I can pretty confidently say that Shedeur Sanders is number 1 on the Giants' big board. I can confidently say that. Jay Liv, what up, man? $5 super chat. Says Sid Luckman was the Bears QB way back in their day. My dad was a kid. He is the only consistently good quarterbacks in Bears history.
That's not good.
The more you know.
The more you know. I'm glad to know more about Sid Luckman now. Shout out to you, Jay Liv.
Are we no love for smoking Jay Cutler?
Yeah, well, Jay brought you to the playoffs. I think.
What about Mr. Rex Grossman getting to the bowl?
Super Bowl, yeah. Rex Grossman, shout out to him. What about Mitch, the MVP?
Oh, Mitch Trubisky. What a stud. What a stud.
Look who's here.
The Bronx boy in the building. What up, man? Says, what is Colorado's OC that got Sanders playing so well? I can't think of his name. You know who it is?
I'm going to look it up very quickly so I can sound
Pat
smart.
Shermer.
Former
New York Giants
head
head coach, Pat Shermer.
I forgot.
Pat Shermer and Shedeur Sanders are likely going to be Raiders. That's my take on that.
Even if the Giants pick ahead?
I don't think they are. I don't think the Giants win another game.
That Raiders schedule is definitely tougher than the Jags schedule that we looked at before.
Yeah. I don't know. We've heard some things here at Chat Sports that Dion may want his son to be a Raider. That's about all I can say, though, on that. All righty, last call for the moment to get in on the mailbag. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat. Appreciate you all. Shout out to everybody in the building. The AMP channel says little bit of Bears knowledge. Hey, now you know. Now you know. JT says hashtag Space Giants. Eliminate that space, bro. Make the tips touch. Number sign and G. They got to touch. No spaces. No spaces. Shout out to y'all. Brandon Reyes says it's hard being a Giants fan for real, but I want a QB and I want Cam Ward. Yeah, no, I just want someone new to root for and unrealistically say how good they are, because I can't do that with any of these QBs. Adonis the A-Train, we see your super chat. We're going to roll through this mock draft, and then we'll get back to answering questions and super chats. Appreciate y'all. 220 people in the building. If you haven't yet, go ahead and slap that thumbs up icon for me, if you could. 2-round mock draft. Let's do it. It's mock draft time here on New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and it's my mock draft number 2. Marshall Green's mock draft 2.0. We did a mock draft a couple of weeks ago. And here we go. We'll do one again on today's show. If you want the Giants to get the number 1 overall pick, though, go down right now and hit that thumbs up icon. Let's speak it into existence. Let's make it happen. If you want it to happen, like the video right now. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. We are recording this video on Monday, December 2nd. So at the time of filming, the New York Giants owned the number 3 overall pick in the draft. So when we went through our mock draft simulator, that's the spot that the New York Giants held. You see the top 11 picks on screen right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars hold that number 1 spot with a 2-10 record. But when it comes to the tiebreaker in the NFL draft with teams with the same record, you're going to look at that strength of schedule. The lower that number is, you are going to have the tiebreaker. So the Jags own the tiebreaker right now. Las Vegas over the Giants as well. But according to the advanced analytics at ESPN, the New York Giants still do have the best shot of owning that top pick. According to Seth Walder in his analytics, the Giants have a 30.7% chance to land the number 1 overall pick. That is the highest of the bunch with the teams like the Patriots, the Raiders, the Panthers, and the Jags right behind them. Let's get into it with the first pick in this mock draft simulator. If you're mad at me on where the picks went, cry me a river. We use the PFF mock draft simulator, so take it up with them. Travis Hunter, the wide receiver and corner out of Colorado. He went number 1 to Jacksonville. And then Shedeur Sanders, his guy, his quarterback, goes number 2 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Giants are on the clock with both Colorado kids gone, and Cam Ward was the player that I ended up selecting. And look, this would be a home run pick for the New York Giants, and this would be best case scenario for yours truly. If you've been watching this program for quite some time, you know that I am a massive Cam Ward fan. There's a lot to like about him. He's having a hell of a season with the Hurricanes, completing over 67% of his passes. He's thrown 36 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And he is my QB1 in this draft class. Cam Ward, no doubt about it, is QB1 for me. I do have Shedeur Sanders right below him. And the gap is shrinking as this college football season goes on. But it's more of the intangibles than the tangibles as to why I do have Ward above him. Just the raw statistics for Ward that you do see on screen, unfortunately, wasn't able to get the win this past weekend against Syracuse and punch his ticket to the ACC championship. But I didn't believe the reason they didn't win was because of him. Their defense could not stop a nosebleed, and it's really been the song of this season all year long for Miami. Some of the things that I love about his game, though, his ability to touch every single blade of grass when he drops back in the pocket. When you talk about big-time throws that just make you say, wow, and you look back and say, this guy has an NFL arm. Cam Ward has 28 of those throws, the third most in the nation right now, and his big-time throw percentage, 5.9, number 7 in college football. So if you need this guy to deliver a big throw on 3rd and 12, whether it be outside the numbers, inside the hashes, Ward is one of the best of the business in that. Another thing that I do love about his game is his ability to play within a muddy pocket and still be an extremely effective quarterback. In the NFL, especially if you're going to go to the New York Giants, you're most likely going to be on a team that allows a lot of pressures. In Ward, he can be extremely successful in those spots. He's actually picked defenses apart when they've decided to blitz him this year. He's completing 67.9% of his passes when blitzed with 9.3 yards per attempt. So these aren't just dink and dunks. This guy is manipulating the pocket, moving the pocket, and finding a passing lane to execute. He has 9 big-time throws against the blitz, and he's thrown 18 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions in those spot. Total when under pressure, completing 50% of his passes with 7 touchdowns compared to 4 interceptions. These are tighten up a little bit on those turnover-worthy plays, but we'll talk about that more as this video continues to roll. I also love that when Ward wants to dial it up and he wants to make a play downfield, he does it at one of the higher clips in the National Football League. Highest clips in college football. Number 3 in the country in completion percentage of all quarterbacks with at least 65 attempts on throws of 20-plus yards. He is completing 44.9% of his throws on 20-plus air yards with 12 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. But, man, his sweet spot is in that intermediate range, 10 to 19 yards, completing 67% of his throws there, has 10 touchdowns on those throws, and he could just get it done no matter what the down and distance is. Some of the things that I absolutely love about him is his leadership and his leadership style. When you hear how Mario Cristobal talks about him, or you hear about any coach that has worked with him, they have really been loud about the fact that he can galvanize and he can get a locker room to rally around him. There's been clips that have gone viral of him and Shedeur Sanders working out this summer, and I love that Ward kind of called out Shedeur Sanders in a couple of those clips, talking about you're not giving 100% effort right now. You're not doing what you got to do. I got better today. You did not. I love that leadership and really just that alpha dog mentality that Cam Ward has. I also think he has unshakable confidence, and sometimes that gets him in a little bit of trouble. But this dude, whenever adversity is thrown at his face, whether they're down 15 points in the fourth quarter, whether he's got to put a drive together at the end of the game, he can get it done, and he doesn't let a bad play ruin an entire game. And that's a skill. We've seen so many times. Look at Daniel Jones make a couple of mistakes, and he just gets into meltdown mode, and the game is over. Cam Ward's got a little bit of Eli in him, where he can make a bad play, but then the very next drive come back and look like the best quarterback in the league. Love just the headspace that this guy has. And then he has an elite arm. Like, this is one of the best arms, if not the best arm in the draft. I think he's got a stronger arm than Shedeur Sanders. He can layer the football. He's got great touch. He can find any pocket he wants to. And he's someone that you could run any offense at the next level for. Also love the playmaking that he has. And he's an underrated athlete. Just because he doesn't look to scramble and he doesn't have designed scramble yards doesn't mean he's not a good athlete. Just go watch the tape. The thing I love about him is he uses his athleticism to buy time to make plays down the field. His eyes are always looking down the field. He rarely looks down at the line of scrimmage. And even when he's outside the pocket, sometimes not even looking at those rushers, just always trying to make a play. And I absolutely love that. And the thing I love the most is the continuous growth. I don't even think he is close to the ceiling of the type of player that he will be in the NFL. We talked about it in last week's video. He goes from pretty much a triple option offense in high school, goes to a D1 AA school at Incarnate Word. Then he goes to Wazoo, and now he's at Miami doing his thing. He has leveled up his play as he has leveled up at every single league in college. I think he is going to be a serious player in this league. Things he needs to improve on. Less hero ball. And that goes back to some of his strengths. And sometimes in life, things that make you great can also be the reason that you struggle. His playmaking is why I love him. But sometimes he needs to just live to play another down. Sometimes throwing the ball away is much better than forcing a ball into double coverage or trying to throw that crazy cover 2 hole shot from the opposite hash, and just realizing that keeping your offense alive is sometimes better than risking it all. Ball placement can improve, and you could say that for any quarterback. I feel like sometimes he leaves some yards after the catch on the field, maybe throwing to this shoulder instead of this shoulder, and he's missed a couple of easy throws as well. Pre- and post-snap reads is probably my number one area of improvement for Cam Ward. Sometimes I feel like he makes his mind up on who he wants to go to with the ball prior to the snap, and a lot of quarterbacks do that. Some people call that anticipation, when they just decide who they want to throw to. But his ability to do everything, I'm more confident in things that he needs to improve on, including pocket awareness. Sometimes just too cool for school in the pocket. Keep the ball up tight, 2 hands on the ball. I think all of these 4 things can improve and will improve in the NFL. I got Cam Ward as QB1. Who do you got? Pick a QB. Type S for Shador. Type C for Cam. Are we crashing out for Cam? Let me know. Sound off in the comments section. Coming up next, the round 2 pick in the mock draft 2.0. Board got thin for me at that spot, but I love who I came away with. We'll talk about that in a second. First, though, I got to give a major shout-out to our proud ticketing app, Game Time. If you're looking to buy tickets to a sporting event, a concert, a theater event, or something like that, download the Game Time app and use that promo code ChatSports and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. You get to see your seat view in the app, and you get to access your tickets from your phone. It's easy to resell your tickets as well if you no longer want to go to the event you bought tickets for. Download the app and make sure you get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. Use that all-in pricing. That way the price you see is the price you pay. And the Game Time Picks feature, it isolates your feed to make it that much more easy to go see your favorite team, people, or whatever perform. So download the app. Create an account. Use the promo code ChatSports, ChatSports. And you get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All righty, I was back on the clock at pick number 36. I was debating on a corner, but you know what? The Giants, they got to get beefed up in the trenches. I selected a really, really talented football player in Walter Nolan, the interior defensive lineman out of Ole Miss with the 36th overall pick. This is a guy that started his college football career as a Texas A&M Aggie, and then when Jimbo Fisher got fired, he ended up transferring to Ole Miss. And he is your prototypical defensive tackle that can get it done on pass rushing down. 6'3", 305 pounds. This year has 48 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. This is a guy that's been the real deal, really his entire football career. He was the number 2 player in his high school class as he did commit to Texas A&M, and he looked really good there. And he showed immediately once he got on the football field, this is probably going to be a first-round talent. And a lot of people are taking note of that. There are some things that he can improve upon, and I thought Dane Brugler, who covers the NFL draft for The Athletic, did a really good job of summarizing it all. Says he shows too much volatility game to game, but on the LSU and South Carolina tapes, Nolan looked like a slam dunk top 25 pick. He is explosive in any direction to be a force through gaps and has done a better job this season using his fast physical hands to rip through blocks. He was actually number 25 on Dane Brugler's big board. He continues to rise in that department, was still available on the board for me at pick 36, and I was very happy with making this selection. Through his 3-year career in the SEC, he's played in 34 games, 11.5 sacks, 26 tackles for loss, over 114 tackles, 62 pressures, and 45 hurries. He could definitely improve as a run-stuffing defensive tackle, not your 330, 340-pound interior defensive lineman. This is a guy that I think you can line up next to Dexter Lawrence with Brian Burns on one end as well as Kayvon Thibodeau on another, and you could have one of the best 4-man pass rushes in the NFL. And I also would love for him to learn from a guy like Dexter Lawrence because Nolan is still a raw prospect. He is still working to put all of it together. But, man, the raw tools are there. The athleticism is there. And this guy's really just a freak show. And I would love for the great Still Dre, Andre Patterson, to work with Nolan. Andre Patterson was maybe the guy that unlocked Dexter Lawrence when he became a part of this team. We've seen Andre Patterson as the defensive co-coordinator with the Minnesota Vikings take a guy like Daniil Hunter to that next level. If you develop this guy right and you put him in a spot to be successful, I truly believe that he will be a big-time difference maker early on in his college football career. So, mock draft 2.0. Cam Ward round 1, Walter Nolan round 2. You get a quarterback, it's a big win for me, and I think defensive tackle remains another huge need for this team. And if you wonder why, just go look up how many rushing yards per game the New York Giants give up. Grade this mock draft for me, though. Get out your red pen and let me know. Be honest. Be honest. Grade the mock draft A, B, C, D, or F. Sound off for me down below. Honestly, this is about as good as it gets, in my opinion. This is an A- draft for me. I really don't know what else would have to happen for it to be an A. You get the 25th overall prospect at pick number 36, and you get my QB1 in this class. If this was the draft, I would be very happy about it. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. We can continue the conversation about this mock draft over there. So if you haven't yet, give me a follow, and let's go Big Blue. Young the hot boy.
We messing with that? We messing with that or not?
Gives it a B+. The high by a B. Mitch hates DJ. Confirmed a B+.
Everybody's being a little harsh.
Corinne an A.
A lot of Shadur Sanders fans in the chat.
A lot of Tommy DeVito fans in the chat. Nope says, I guess the Elijah Chapman hype is over. I don't think that it was ever really hoped that he could be a starter in year 2. I thought Nolan was the best player on the board when I was on the clock. I was looking at the corner out of Texas as well. I would have been totally cool with that as well. Hey, this team could use some depth. If you draft Walter Nolan and he is good, and then Elijah Chapman becomes good, it's a good problem to have. You want multiple good players at these positions, especially these primary and premium positions like DT. We're seeing right now when the Giants get injured, they're one of the worst rosters in the NFL. Garrett says, why Ward over Sanders? Well, Sanders went in this mock draft prior to Ward being selected, but I do have Ward above Sanders. There's multiple videos out on the channel where you can go check that out, and it'll tell you why I believe Ward is above Sanders. So go check those out. That's why you subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss a video. Adonis the A-Train, $5 super chat. What's up, homie? One more question. What are your guys' bottom 5 and top 5 fan bases in the NFL? It could be rival or any conference, your choice. By the way, love the vids. You know what, bro? I appreciate that. Top 5 fan bases in the NFL? Smitty, this seems like a question for you, bro. I'll give you the decision.
Sure. And as much as I want to say Big Blue Faithful is number 1, I don't know. I don't see how anybody's touching Bills Mafia up in Buffalo. The way that they get out for their team. I mean, they got people shoveling snow off of the bleachers in their stadium so they can go play a football game and all the fans can pack the stadium. Like there's no real debate. I think there's a sizable gap between 1 and 2. I would throw Giants fans up there because they're so willing and able to. They love their guys. They love their Tommy DeVito. Like that exemplifies to me that Giants fans, they ride or die for their players, and I'd have them in the top 5 as well. I also throw the Seattle Seahawks up there as well. They got a raucous fan base up there in the Pacific Northwest. I think the Niners got a good fan base as well, and maybe the Steelers. Those where I would go for my top 5, and then bottom 5, Cowboys. As I look at the 2 new producers here who are Cowboys fans in the room. I don't know. What else you got? Jets fans. Jets fans suck. I hate them.
Do the Jags have fans?
I feel like I can't put them at the bottom if I don't really recognize them as a fan base. Like the Jags, most of their fans are in London.
Does anyone know a Carolina Panthers fan?
Oh my goodness. I know one Jags fan. I know one Carolina Panthers fan who I met in college. But I wouldn't even say they're there. And none of my friends are Jags or Panthers fans. Let me tell you.
I also feel like the LA teams have to be in there, considering
all
of those teams have changed the city that they play in multiple times.
Chargers and Rams. They're not good fan bases right now. The Raiders fan base is there's something. I don't know where they would fall on a list. Depending on who you ask, you might get a different answer.
So there we go. Smitty's list of top 5 worst.
I'm probably wrong.
And best fan bases.
Shit on me in the comments. I don't know.
That's funny. Patrick Clark says biggest mistake Joe Shane made was passing on Daniel Jones' 5th-year option. How about just not give him the $92 million? I think that would have been cool too. I think it actually would have been worse if you accepted his 5th-year option and then he
extended him again after that.
Yeah. Hindsight's 20/20, but you should have franchise tagged DJ and gave him Saquon a long-term deal. That's what should have happened.
Yep.
But it didn't.
It did not.
And we're 2 years from that. So let's move the hell on. I do got a mailbag coming up on today's show. Appreciate you, guy. Brian Combs says, I see that purple shirt under there, Marsh. You might want to get your eyes checked, buddy. You
It might be reflecting a little purple off of the blue screen behind them, but I don't know. That thing's looking white to me.
Maybe get your eyes checked. We can go together since I need to get my eyes checked as well.
Hey, maybe I'll tag along. I need a checkup.
That's hilarious. All righty, let's jump into who should start. Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock? Mr. Rick, what up, Josh? Says the pre-MetLife Giants fans were the best. The Polo Grounds, Yankee Stadium, Yale Bowl, all in Giant Stadium. The faithful of faithful.
Polo Grounds is crazy.
It's Jackie's wacky golf from Caddyshack.
Polo Grounds is insane.
That's good stuff. All righty.
The best debate we got rolling right now.
I'll ask, who should start? Or I have it actually as a live poll. So if you haven't voted in the live poll, please do so. 387 votes, Smitty. 69% say Drew Lock. I am actually shocked. I am actually shocked.
I'm a little shocked at the response as well. Maybe they saw Lock throwing the ball down the field a little bit on Thursday. Made him forget the cutlets and how he checks the ball down. It takes a sec every drop back.
Yeah, but he gave us a spark last year.
Yeah, he gave us a spark.
Yep. Also made us the biggest joke in football. All righty.
Gimmick.
Well, let's try to talk about this and come to an agreement on who the starting quarterback should be. Brian Daboll has not yet named a starter for this week's game against the New Orleans Saints, so I'm giving you the opportunity to do so. Who should be under center for Big Blue this Sunday versus New Orleans? 2 for Lock, 15 for Tommy. Let me know in the comment section. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. On today's video, I'm going to give you my opinion on who should be the Giants quarterback for the remainder of the season. I first want to go to this quote from Brian Daboll, where he told the media, "We just got done watching the tape. We'll see where we're at. We'll see where Tommy's at. We'll see where Drew's at." I don't think Brian Daboll knows who he wants to be the starting quarterback. I think he needs to ask himself the question, what do we want to do? Do we want to try to win games, or do we openly want to tank and admit to all of our fans that we are a joke and we do not care about the remainder of the season? He also said this, "Well, we'll evaluate the 2 games that both these guys played. And look, I thought Drew did some good things against the Cowboys. We got to obviously clean up the turnovers. The ones that were 7 points to the defense, and then back up when we get some points. We got to make sure we're taking care of the ball. Give our guys a chance down the field to make some plays." It almost felt like he was talking about Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito in that last sentence. We got to take care of the ball. That's about Drew Lock. We got to give our guys a chance to make plays down the field. That's about Tommy DeVito. Look, I honestly thought Lock made some plays versus Dallas. Is Drew Lock the answer? No. Are you going to come back and be relevant this season because of Drew Lock? No. But I do think he does give you the best chance to win. And I think it's beyond the box score. Like, this is disgusting. 65.5% completion percentage, just 178 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He also fumbled. But he also did run in a touchdown. And he also had a 30-yard run where he got down at the 1-yard line. I thought he just made plays in this game that a guy like Tommy DeVito could not. Lock versus Dallas. He had 3 big-time throws in a 60-minute ball game. Tommy DeVito has started now 7 games for the New York Giants. He's appeared in 10 games. Tommy DeVito in his NFL career has 4 big-time throws. Lock did 3 of those in 1 game. He had a big-time throw percentage of 8.3, and he was sacked 6 times. So it is possible. When you're under pressure, you can still push the ball downfield and create explosive plays. He had an average depth of target of 6.4 yards and an adjusted completion percentage of 80%. It really is a no-brainer for me who the best quarterback on this roster is right now, and it's Drew Lock over Tommy DeVito. And there is a long list of reasons why I think he should be that starting quarterback, but really none more important than the fact that Brian Daboll, as well as Joe Shane, as well as Brandon Brown, and everybody that makes personnel decisions on this football team all agreed in free agency that we need to sign a quarterback to back up Daniel Jones despite Tommy DeVito being on the roster. So much and so, they paid Drew Lock $5 million. Like, if you thought DeVito was ready to rock and roll last year coming into this year, why the hell did you sign Drew Lock? You did it for a reason, because you didn't trust Tommy. And after one game, I'm not sure how you could trust him to go out there and play again. I'm going to go brick by brick and tell you why I think Tommy DeVito should be the quarterback. Why Drew Lock should be the quarterback for the Giants. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because when Brian Daboll announces who is going to be the quarterback for the remainder of the season, we are going to have a video. When the Giants make a move, we make a video. So never miss this thing. Hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you stay in the loop. Also, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor of today's show, Game Time, the best ticketing app in the game. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports, and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Game Time is the app where you get the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. Prices actually drop as the events get closer, and you get to access your tickets from your phone. It's easy to resell your tickets, and you get to see different views from the seats inside the app that you were thinking about purchasing. I've gone to concerts, I've gone to NFL games, I've gone to NBA games, and so much more, and I only do it with Game Time, mainly because of these two features, all-in pricing. The price I see is the price I want to pay. I don't want to get hit with $100 in hidden fees when I get to checkout, and Game Time Picks makes it that much more easy to go see your favorite people perform. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports to get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. All of that information and links are clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. Alrighty, I'm going to operate this decision as if I'm the head coach and I am actually trying to go out and win football games. Because I know we all want the Giants to lose, or at least some of us want the Giants to lose to get that number 1 overall pick, but the head coach can't operate like that. You need to do whatever you need to do to give your team the best chance to win. And I think Drew Lock can make the most out of what the Giants have on offense of the quarterbacks on this roster. Let's start with this. Let Drew Lock throw the ball downfield. Drew Lock, throughout his career, has shown that he can at least do one thing, and it's take the top off the defense. He is not afraid to throw the ball downfield. And how many times have we seen Tommy DeVito miss easy throws, not making throws? And I don't mean missing them. I mean not even trying to make some of those throws. I mean, in one game with Drew Lock as the quarterback, he has one less big-time throw than Tommy DeVito had in his entire NFL career. So we look at these stats right here. Passing depths for Drew Lock. He was 0 for 5 on throws of 20-plus yards, but there was a drop by Darius Slayton. There was also a play where Darius Slayton caught the ball and he got 1 foot down. Good receivers make those plays, and you're 2 of 5 on throws of more than 20-plus yards. But what about in the medium to intermediate range? Throws that traveled 10 to 19 yards in the ball traveled 10 to 19 yards in the air. Drew Lock threw 6 of those passes against Dallas. He completed 50% of them. I mean, don't we want a guy that can throw the ball downfield to get the ball to a guy like Darius Slayton or Malik Neighbors or Jalen Hyatt? Whereas you compare Tommy DeVito, the numbers aren't really close to compare at all. DeVito threw the ball just 2 times with 20-plus air yards. And DeVito, as well, had a turnover-worthy play on throws that traveled 10 to 19 yards. He did complete 57% of those throws. But when you talk about throwing the ball down the field, I want Drew Lock to be that guy. Lock can get the ball to Neighbors as well. We saw as that game went on, there was more chemistry and continuity being built. Think about it like this. The Giants scored 20 points versus the Dallas Cowboys. That was the 4th most this season by the Giants. Embarrassing, I know, right? But Drew Lock didn't practice at all. There was no practice Monday. There was no practice Tuesday. And they traveled on Wednesday. So he was let know that he was going to be the starter on Tuesday. And he did not practice the rest of the week. And he comes out and he puts up 20 points on the scoreboard. And no preparation whatsoever. I also think Locks lets you develop the younger wide receivers a little bit more. We saw Jalen Hyatt play a little bit with Drew Lock. He drew that pass interference penalty that gained about 25 yards as well. I want to see him throw the ball to Wan'Dale Robinson. I want to see him put the ball in Malik Neighbors' hands. I just think that he does that at a little bit better of a clip than Tommy DeVito. I also think he just works better in a dirty pocket. And right now, it's going to be a dirty pocket. You're on your 4th-string right tackle. You're on your 3rd-string left tackle. Drew Lock was sacked 6 times in those games, in that game that he started. What about the game that Tommy DeVito started this year? Every time he sensed pressure, every time he felt pressure, anytime he saw a free rusher, he didn't hang in there. He didn't manipulate the pocket. He didn't reset the pocket. He just bailed out to his right and either threw it away or ran it for 1 or 2 yards. Whereas Locke, even if he shouldn't sometimes, will stick in the pocket and let it fly. He's able to make the most out of a bad pocket. And the grades and the stats, they say so. You look at what Drew Lock did in that game against Dallas when it comes to clean pocket, dirty pocket, and all that. Under pressure, Drew Lock was 9 of 13. He completed 69% of his throws when under pressure. And when he was blitzed, he was 7 for 11, completing 63% of his throws. So 69% of his throws went under pressure, compared to Tommy DeVito completing 58.3% of his throws under pressure. And that's just because Drew Lock's a better quarterback. Drew Lock is someone that has so many more reps and so many more starts under his belt. And I think that that's what you got to do because his O-line is a mess. I don't want to see DeVito take hit after hit after hit and then rush out of the pocket to his right and rush out of the pocket to his left and miss easy reads because he is under pressure. Maybe Drew Lock will hang in there a little bit too much and fumble the football he's not supposed to or throw an interception over the middle of the field, but the data tells you throughout his career that he works much better in a dirty pocket. Tommy DeVito, last year when he started 6 games, had the number 1 pressure to sack percentage in the NFL. Number 2 was Daniel Jones. I also think Drew Lock gives you the best chance to win. And I know a lot of people, but Marshall, we don't want to win games. Marshall, we don't want to win. I get it. But Brian Daboll wants to win games. Brian Daboll wants to be the head coach of this team going forward. And there have been multiple reports from very trusted insiders saying that Brian Daboll is coaching for his job going forward. The easiest way I can say it is this. Tommy DeVito plays a brand of football that is, we are playing not to lose. We are playing to back in to wins. He's going to be very conservative. He is going to take care of the football. And you are going to hope the other team messes up and DeVito can capitalize. Threw just 2 interceptions last year. Doesn't turn the ball over. Where we see Drew Lock, he's going to take chances, and he might turn the ball over. Lock gives you the chance to win. He also might make you lose some games in return as well. And that's what I want to watch. I want to watch high-powered throws. I want to watch an explosive offense, even if it means throwing a pick 6 to Demarion Overshone on a screen pass. I don't want to see dink and dunk, and let's win a football game 13-10. Let's go try to throw the ball. Let's air it out and let the chips fall where they may. I don't know. I'm rolling with Drew Lock. I think both these guys are bad. It is what it is. You're picking between worse and horrible. So let me know. 2 for Lock, 15 for DeVito. And make sure to hit me up on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow, and let's go Big Blue.
And somehow, since we've last looked, Drew Lock is at 68% now.
So we lost a percent.
We lost some of you on that explanation.
Man, I just think everyone's ready for it to be over. Everyone's just ready for it to be over. The AMP channel typing is 2. Chris Duffy typing is 2. Cha, seriously, do the Giants hold some kind of record for drafting O-line busts in the top 10? I bet they do. Giants been... You are right. Bronx Boy says 3 reasons for DeVito. Caleb, Daniels, and May. Yeah, he won worthless games, and he took us out of position to draft all 3 of those guys. Unbelievable. What's up, Rose Stonin? What's up, man? What up, Tanya? All right, we are going to get into a mailbag to close out today's live show. Shout out, Team Tim Boyle. If you want to guarantee losses, play Tim Boyle. That brother stinks. Christopher says, you need to go to Blue Sky. I'm good on Twitter. People are still on Blue Sky? I thought all the people left Twitter to go to Threads. And now they came back to Twitter, or are they then going to Blue Sky? That's crazy. That's crazy. Rose Stone, and I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. Cha says, let's talk about Fred carving a turkey. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see my father carve a turkey this year because I got to spend my beautiful Thanksgiving watching the New York Giants with you guys. What's my confidence level in Dable? Oh, man, I go back and forth on Brian Dable a lot. I really do. I really do. I do think, and I'm not going to change from this anymore, I think the Giants should fire him. Just like I think the Giants should fire Joe Shane. I think that with a new, you're going to have number 1, number 2, or number 3 overall pick. You're going to have $65 million in cap space. Let's get a new head coach, and let's get a new general manager, and let's start this thing off right. It's kind of where I am. Wade says if the Giants are number 1 and the Raiders are number 3, would you trade back with them if they offered a package similar to the 49ers trading for Lance? If I knew, I got to know that a quarterback's not going 2, though. I'd feel like a real big dummy if you trade from 1 to 3 thinking you're going to get Cam Ward and someone swoops in to pick number 2 and gets Cam Ward. Yeah, I'm closer to 51-49 leaning fire him. That's just where I'm at. That's where I'm at on that. Captain America says you have to fire the coach. These players are not prepared when they get on the field. Brody, what's my Super Bowl predictions? I'm going to go chalk, chalk, chalk. Give me Lions, Chiefs. Give me Lions, Chiefs. Proceeds to sneeze. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? I've really stayed away from that stuff because nothing good's going to come of it, but why do you say that? Why do you say that? Start Tim Boyle. Dead. What's up, Rob Jigga? Young the Hot Boys, the Giants are so bad. We should change. Yeah, not good. We need to keep losing again. Guys, Giants have no problem losing this year. I promise. I promise.
They're not. They did not try to tank for the first 12 weeks of the season. Low key, when they tried it out DeVito, they might have.
That was my mock draft from 2 weeks ago before Jalen Milroe decided he forgot how to play football. I had Will Johnson round 1 and Jalen Milroe round 2. Milroe has not looked good the last 5 games. He has not looked good. What's up, Anthony Rodriguez? Yep. Rob, you know who my QB1 is, bro? Of course I would be fine with Cam Ward at pick number 3. Of course. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah, Milroe definitely took a step back this year. He was awesome last year, not so much this year. He had a good start to the year. All righty, last call to get into the mailbag, and then we'll send this puppy to the moon. Dolphin Storm. What up, bro? I don't know much about him, Mitch. I don't know much about him, bro. Do not know much about him. Shout out to the Bronx boy getting a question in. Shout out to Dolphin Storm. What's up, Brody? I think the Giants should draft Ward or Sanders and sign a quarterback. That's what I would do. Nah. Let's do it. All righty. Let's do it. It's mailbag time here on Giants Now by Chat Sports. On today's video, we're just going to be answering questions from subscribers, which came from our live show, which airs every Monday afternoon. So if you didn't get your question answered or you missed our live show, change it. Hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, select all so you never miss a thing. Remy, the Enforcer, $2 super chat. Shout out to you. Says the New York Giants got the number one pick. Would you trade it or pick a quarterback? I'm taking a quarterback. I'm taking Cam Ward, number one overall, and I'm going to start making those jerseys, and I'm going to start finding a way to build around Cam Ward to make sure that he has the most success he can in the National Football League. Take the QB now, and let's go. Jay Liv, what's happening, bro? It's easy to criticize Shane's drafting. At the time, his picks were highly ranked. You gave an A to Banks, Schmitz, and Hyatt. Tibbs and Neal were seen as good picks at the time. Should he come back? Those picks did look like good picks at the time. Thing is, 2 years later, they do not. And he's got to live with those repercussions. Luckily, I do not. They haven't worked out. And maybe it comes down to more so player development than player scouting as the issue for the New York Giants. Because I think PFF said the Giants had the best first-round grade in 2022. They also had him as a top 5 grade in 2023. And none of those players are really big-time players. No, I don't think the Giants should keep Joe Shane. I think his free agency classes have been a joke. I think his ability to evaluate offensive linemen has been bad. Most importantly, they gave $92 million to Daniel Jones. I don't want anyone on this team going forward that had anything to do with that contract. That's just my take on that. Mike G, what's happening, man? Says, Marsh, appreciate the super chat. What's this nonsense of a bridge quarterback just to get Arch Manning? Just think it's the last name is why we talk about this kid. Do you agree we got to get the quarterback this year? Appreciate you. Yeah, look, if his name was Arch Johnson, I don't think that he would have the hype that he has, but that's not the world that we live in. Look, I think Arch is a good prospect. I would like to see him play a full year of college football before I talk about him being the number one overall pick. Whether the Giants draft a quarterback or not, free agency 2025 will come before the draft, and you have to sign a quarterback. You can't go into the NFL draft with only Tommy DeVito on your roster. So I think the Giants will sign a veteran quarterback, and then I think they will draft one. And I think your QB room next year will be the vet, the rookie, and Tommy DeVito. That's where I'm at on that. Mike G, back again. Says Bill or Vrabel for 2025. I got Mike Vrabel. I got Mike Vrabel as my head coach. Mike Vrabel is my number one Brian Daboll replacement. If the Giants move on from Brian Daboll like I think they should, in large part due to the fact that I am out on Joe Shane, and I don't think it's proper team building to fire a general manager and then keep that head coach who that general manager hired, then to force that head coach on your new general manager, I would go with Mike Vrabel, and I would have Bill Belichick probably somewhere in my top 5 as well. B. Coop, realistically, who would your first 3-round mock draft be? We'll go 2. Give me Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, and then give me a corner or a defensive tackle. Those are the 3 biggest needs on the team, in my opinion, and if you could find a way to get that done, that'd be ideal. I did just launch my Giants mock draft 2.0. We did a 2-round mock draft, and I had Cam Ward as the 3rd overall pick, and then I had Walter Nolan, former 5-star number 2 overall player in the country, defensive tackle, stud athlete at Ole Miss. This would be ideal at the moment for me, as it is still just December. Hamza Network, what up, man? I do not want to see Shane Bowen ever again as a defensive coordinator this year. His scheme is terrible. Run defense is terrible. LOL, only 1 interception in 11 games. Yeah, it's actually an NFL record. The Giants have gone 10 weeks without an interception, and the only interception they had was a batted ball that popped into the air, and your rookie 6th-round linebacker, Darius Muasau, intercepted it. Look, Shane Bowen, not a great defensive coordinator. It's another indictment for me for Brian Dable. He has already he hired Mike Kafka. He then essentially fired Mike Kafka, made himself the offensive coordinator. He hired Johnson, the offensive line coach. He fired him and then hired another one. He hired Wink Martindale. He fired him, and he's on a second DC. He hired a special teams coordinator. He's on a second special teams coordinator. A really big part of being a head coach is building a staff, and the Giants, they don't have a great staff. Trucker, what up, man? Fellas, what do you think? And Louis Riddick as our GM and Cam Ward at the QB. I love Cam Ward. I'm not in on Louis Riddick being the general manager. If I'm going to hire a general manager, I want someone that's been there and done that, that's had success at that position. Louis Riddick has never been a general manager in the NFL. So for me, I am out. I am out on Louis Riddick. We're going to answer more questions coming up in a second, but first, I got to give a major shout-out to our sponsor and our proud ticketing partner, Game Time. If you're looking for last-minute tickets for the best seats with the lowest price guaranteed, download the Game Time app and use that promo code ChatSports and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. You get to see a seat view in the app. You get to access your tickets from your phone, and it's easy to resell your tickets if you decide last minute you no longer want to go to the event. It's more just Giants games as well. They've got tickets for everything. You want to go to a concert? I've been there, done that. You want to go to an NBA game? You could do that. Want to go to a comedy show? You could do that as well. Game Time has you covered. And when you use the two features that I use every time, all-in pricing, the price you see is the price you pay, no hidden BS fees, and the Game Time Picks feature, it creates a feed for you that makes it that much more easy to see your favorite people perform. So what are you waiting for? Download the app. Use the promo code ChatSports, ChatSports, and get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. Brody, what's up, homie? Do you see a win the rest of the season? I do not. I do not think the Giants are going to win another game this year. I thought the most winnable game for the New York Giants was the first week that they moved on from Daniel Jones, where Tommy DeVito got absolutely cooked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But you didn't win that one. And you didn't beat Dallas with Cooper Rush. If I had to say of the remaining 5, what is the most likely they win, I would say this Sunday against Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints. You're not beating Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Maybe you beat the Atlanta Falcons. They've started to skid a little bit. Anthony Richardson and the Colts, I think they're going to win. And unless the Eagles have the division wrapped up and they decide to start their backups, you're going to get smoked by them in Week 18. No, I don't see the Giants winning another game this season. I don't know. If y'all do, let me know. What game do you think the Giants are most likely to win this year? Bronx boy, what up, man? What do you think of Robert Saleh on defense? Pretty obvious how good he is as a defensive guy. Yeah, look, if you can go out and blast Shane Bowen to the moon and hire Rob Saleh as your D coordinator, sign me up. There's going to be a lot of teams interested in Saleh. And if I had to guess, I think he's going back to the 49ers where he had his name made. And he teams back up with Kyle Shanahan, and they try to get it done. But, yeah, if he wants to stay in New Jersey, wants to stay in the Northeast, want to come coach the New York Giants on defense, yeah, I'm cool with that. Rodriguez, what up, bro? Do we have a developmental issue with players? Hell yeah, we got a developmental issue with players. Look, I think there's a big problem with drafting players as well, but I also think it's really a big part of growing these picks. Like, you got to be able to develop them. Evan Neal, no development. Kayvon Thibodeau, no development. Deontay Banks, John Michael Schmitz. Like, some of these young guys you picked, none of them have really got better. And, yeah, that is a problem. So, yeah, Giants have an identifying talent issue. They have an issue of forming a plan of attack to acquire the talent, and they haven't done a really good job of developing that talent either. MB Prods, do you think if we take Ward, would he sit or start immediately? That's a great question. And I think it depends on who is that quarterback that you're going to sign in free agency. Remember the timeline. And in March, you'll have free agency, and in April, you'll have the draft. So you're going to have to sign a quarterback in free agency unless you just want to announce to everybody in the world that you're going to draft a quarterback in round 1. And you still want to have a backup plan if you don't. I anticipate the Giants signing a veteran quarterback, and then I anticipate them drafting a rookie quarterback. I don't mind if Ward sits. I don't. We've seen some cases where sitting can help. We've also seen some cases where some guys hit the ground running. There's always multiple ways to skin a cat. Ward could probably benefit from sitting a little bit, but man, I think he also could be ready to go. Dolphins, Storm. What up, man? If we decide to go draft a QB in 2026 instead of 2025, who would be your ideal bridge quarterback? I would absolutely hate it if the New York Giants do not select a quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft, but if this is the way that it played out, Justin Fields would be my number 1 bridge QB of the available free agent quarterbacks. We've done lists of top free agent quarterbacks before, and none of them really stand out to me. Like, I'm not going to pay Sam Darnold the big bucks to come be a bridge quarterback. Am I sure Sam Darnold could be good outside of an offense that's run by Kevin O'Connell with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hockenson, and a list of playmakers? I'm just going to pull up a list here of the top free agent guys. Sam Darnold, I have no interest in Zach Wilson. I have no interest in Trey Lance. I have no interest in Jacoby Brissett. Maybe if the Giants would have benched Daniel Jones in week 4 and gave him the rest of the season to play Drew Lock, who's a free agent, he could have played his way into being the bridge quarterback. But that would have been just a stupid idea for that to happen. Justin Fields, I'm in on that. Jameis Winston, love me some Jameis Winston. I don't know if he would ever be a Giant. Not in on Mac Jones. I'd be cool with Russell Wilson, but I think he's going to be the Steelers quarterback for a long time. And also be cool with Marcus Mariota. So a short list of bridge quarterbacks, in my opinion, that would be the best. Mariota, Winston, and Fields, with Fields topping that list. If you want to talk more about it and I didn't get to your question today, hit me up on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG at @MarshallGreen_. Give me a follow, and let's go Big Blue. Yeah, the AMP channel. I would say Justin Fields for the simple fact that, one, he already won games this year. He was 4-2 as a starter. But I think that you could recreate a system that is pretty easy to recreate. Let's just ground and pound the hell out of a team. Let's become a top running team in the NFL. And this may sound bad, but I don't care if we run Justin Fields into the dirt. Tell him to tote that piece 20 times a game. But yeah. I also have no interest in Kirk Cousins. I've seen some people float out the idea that the New York Giants trade for Kirk Cousins.
He's cooked.
I would crash out if they traded for him. Is CTM still in the building? She was the one asking. Ryan Brogan says, would you ever do a collab with Talking Giants? I'd love to do a collab with Talking Giants. Justin is a super cool guy. We've chatted a couple of times. He's been nothing but nice to me. Haven't really chopped it up with Bobby all that much. I was supposed to do a video with them this summer. They did a video of talking to all of these Giants content creators. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to meet the time they wanted to film. It was during the Knicks playoffs, and I was doing a Knicks watch party that day. So I didn't get to do it. But yeah, I would love to do it, man. I used to watch Talking Giants before I did this show. I think Justin and Bobby are the best two out there, man. Those are good dudes. Justin's always been nothing but good to me. Justin also says, Kirk Cousins, have you seen what he did? Yeah, we're out on Kirk Cousins.
4 Stevies.
Do a collab with Everything New York Giants. Don't need to start lifting up the ladies. I don't know much about Everything New York Giants. Send me the link, Gilly. Send me the link. Anthony Rodriguez says, what would be the biggest need to take in the second? Best player available.
This team has a lot of holes.
You've won 2 games. You don't have many good football players. Let's take the ones that are really good.
You can improve everywhere. Take good football players.
The only position I would not take is left tackle.
Yep.
Outside of that, if you're a good football player, you are on my board.
Which
and honestly, I might even take a swing tackle in round 3.
That's
because Evan Neal's a shithead.
I hope that's a good problem to have. I hope Joe.
Gilly, send it to me on Twitter. For some reason, it's not going to let you put the link in the chat, so just send it to me on Twitter when you get a chance. DBM says, Marshall, I know we need a QB, but Travis Hunter solves 2 needs at once. Oh, Gilly, you're not on Twitter anymore?
It's all right. I can copy paste this.
IG? Does Travis Hunter solve 2 needs? Is Travis Hunter going to be able to do it on both sides? Do you want him playing both sides in the NFL? And there's a guy that can do it. It's him, but
I don't think he'll play both sides.
I just kind of have a hard time believing that.
Woodson did not. Woodson did it like very sparingly. You would not call Charles Woodson a wide receiver.
How many career catches does Charles Woodson have?
That's a great question.
I'm going to say under 30.
He probably. I mean, you know who has probably more is Dion.
Would you guys have Travis Hunter play corner and then some receiver and some corner, or F it, you're playing 90% of the snaps on both sides of the ball? For me, I'm starting him at corner, and he's going to be a package wide receiver. That's what I would do.
Oh, my goodness. How many targets do you think he has?
But by your laugh, I'm going to say 15.
3.
3. Okay, he definitely did it.
3 targets.
He must have gotten the names confused.
Dion, now, to be fair, Dion did play a little receiver, but not very much.
How many career receptions does Deion Sanders have?
I don't know. I might only be saying this because they do out of position cards in Madden.
No, I'm actually curious. I do not know.
I know he has at least a few.
Yeah,
Dion.
whoever said Woodson.
Dion. 96. He had 36 catches for 475. 60 career receptions for Deion Sanders.
60 career?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Woodson did. So we looked up Charles Woodson's offensive stats. You're saying in college? He did it in college.
Yeah, so is Travis Hunter. It's fine.
Yeah,
different
he had a
ballgame.
really long career as a receiver. He had three targets for 2 catches and 27 yards.
Did he ever play receiver in the playoffs? Oh, my God. That's awesome. He had 3 catches for 95 yards in that 95
Charles
playoff
Woodson,
run.
again, I'm telling you, I'm literally looking at the website. I have no reason to lie to you.
This honestly kind of feels like this Dion thing actually kind of feels like what Travis Hunter is going to do in the NFL. Play corner for the most time, have him out there on kick return, punt return,
Yes.
and then a couple spot receiver plays.
Yes, that's how I would do it. I don't know. I kind of worry if you don't put him at one thing, is he ever going to maximize his ceiling at that spot?
Yep. In the
Shit,
NFL,
if there's a
guys
guy, it's him. There's no taking anything away from him. He's one of the best football players I've ever seen.
Yep.
Pound for pound, he might be the best.
Ball
Anyway,
for
like
ball.
165 pounds. Big Coop. What up, bro? Due to how we mishandled Drew, lying to him, and then yeah, I do. I do think the Giants probably didn't do themselves any favors in free agency by telling Drew Lock that he's your backup and he will play when Daniel Jones is cut and released, and then you passed him up to play Tommy DeVito.
Rob Jigga, I see you in the chat, my friend. Says stop ducking the question. I ain't ducking you, Rob Jigga. Please make a holiday background, LOL. So when the holiday season comes around, I believe when we were doing watch parties, we'll have some Christmas lights on the scoreboard, get a little festive for you, Rob Jigga. So don't worry, time's coming. But we're in that little dull period right now between Thanksgiving and Christmas where everybody's just doing their shopping, not getting too festive yet.
I would, Bryce. I've talked to Anthony about it. He's a good dude. Anthony's a good dude. All righty. We're going to sign off here on today's show. We've been live for 90 minutes. Spin these, Bronx boys. Spin these.
Flip-flop these.
All righty. Appreciate you guys. We will be live on the channel Sunday. Do we have Thursday off this week?
No. We
So-
have Knicks Thursday.
Okay. So then we work Friday.
No.
We're off Saturday. Friday. What days are we off this week?
Friday, Saturday.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That means that we will not be live on the channel again until game day. If you want more Marsh, you want more Smitty, come subscribe to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. We will be live on the channel tomorrow. Got a good one against the Orlando Magic. Till then, we'll see y'all later. Let's go Big Blue.